Hello everyone. As a special educator, you might have wondered about the following questions. First, how can we use the Right to Education Act as a tool to advocate for the rights of children with special needs? Second, how can we support and guide parents of children with special needs to stand up for the rights of their children? In today's session, we will help you understand the Right to Education Act in a comprehensive and detailed manner. We have divided the presentation into 4 parts. In the first part, we will understand the importance of the RTE Act. In the second part, we will learn about the major provisions of the RTE Act. In the third part, we will specifically learn about the provisions for children with special needs. And in the fourth part, we will conclude with the RTE Anthem. The 86th Amendment of the Constitution Act 2002 inserted Article 21A in the Constitution of India to provide free and compulsory education to all children in the age group of 6 to 14 years as a fundamental right. The Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, or the Right to Education Act 2009, which represents the consequential legislation envisioned under Article 21A, means that every child has a right to full-time elementary education of satisfactory and equitable quality in a formal school which satisfies certain essential norms and standards. Article 21A and the RTE Act came into effect on 1st of April 2010. With this, India moved forward to a rights-based framework that casts a legal obligation on the central and state governments to implement this fundamental child right as enshrined in the Article 21A of the Constitution, in accordance with the provisions of the RTE Act. The title of the RTE Act incorporates the words free and compulsory. Free means that no child shall be liable to pay any kind of fee or charges or expenses which may prevent him or her from pursuing and completing elementary education. And compulsory education refers to the obligation of the appropriate government to provide free elementary education and ensure compulsory admission, attendance and completion of elementary education by every child in the 6 to 14 age group. In this part of the presentation, we will learn about the major provisions of the RTE Act. All children, including children belonging to disadvantaged groups, weaker sections, and children with disabilities, have the right to pursue free and compulsory elementary education in a neighborhood school. No school or person is allowed to collect any capitation fee and subject the child or his or her parents to any screening procedure while admitting a child. No child shall be denied admission in a school for lack of age proof or late admission. A child who was unable to attend school before can be admitted to a class appropriate to his or her age. No child shall be held back in any class or expelled from the school till the completion of his or her elementary education. Please note, as per the amendment made to the Right to Education Act in the year 2017, every teacher appointed or in position who does not possess the requisite or required academic qualifications shall acquire the requisite or required academic qualifications within a period of 4 years. Where in a school there is no provision for completion of elementary education, a child shall have the right to seek transfer to any other government or government-aided school for the completion of his or her elementary education. And for seeking admission in any other school, the head teacher or in charge of the school where the child was last admitted shall immediately issue the transfer certificate. If there is an area where children live that does not have a school, the government will be responsible for creating a school within that area within 3 years of the enactment of the Right to Education Act, or alternatively provide transportation or residential facilities to an adequate school out of the area. 25% reservation in all recognized private schools for children belonging to economically weaker sections and disadvantaged groups. Please note, as per the amendment made to the Right of Children to Free and Compulsory Education Act, or the RTE Act, in the year 2019, if a child fails in an examination, he or she shall be given additional instruction and granted opportunity for re-examination within a period of 2 months from the date of declaration of the result. The appropriate government may also decide not to hold back a child in any class till the completion of his or her elementary education. It is the duty of every parent or guardian to admit their children or ward in a neighborhood school and ensure that they receive elementary education. The RTE Act prohibits A. Physical punishment and mental harassment, B. Running of schools without recognition, and C. Private tuitions by teachers. It provides for the development of curriculum in consonance with the values enshrined in our Constitution, which would ensure the all-round development of a child. It aims to build on a child's knowledge and potential through a child-centric and child-friendly learning system, thereby making the child free of fear, trauma, and anxiety, and enabling him or her to express his or her views freely. It also calls for appointment of appropriately trained teachers, that is, teachers with the requisite entry and academic qualifications. Please note, as per the RTE Act of 2009, children belonging to disadvantaged groups meant children belonging to the scheduled caste, the scheduled tribe, or any other socially or educationally backward communities. As per the amendment made to the RTE Act in 2012, children with disabilities or children with special needs were also included in the definition of children belonging to disadvantaged groups. It also lays down the norms and standards related to student-teacher ratio in a classroom, construction of barrier-free buildings, playgrounds, and separate toilets for boys and girls, which are mentioned in the schedule, norms, and standards for a school. The RTE Act insists upon schools to constitute school management committees called SMCs, comprising of local authority officials, parents, guardians, and teachers. The SMCs shall plan and monitor the utilization of government grants. RTE also mandates the inclusion of women and parents of children from disadvantaged groups in SMCs. It specifies the duties and responsibilities of appropriate governments, local authority, and parents in providing free and compulsory education. It also outlines the sharing of financial and other responsibilities between the central and state governments. It empowers the National Commission for Protection of Child Rights to monitor, look into complaints, and safeguard the child's right to education. It also provides for the constitution of a National Advisory Council and State Advisory Council for the effective implementation of the Act. In this part of the presentation, we will specifically learn about the provisions for children with special needs. Specific provisions for children with special needs were incorporated into the RTE Act by attaching provisions mentioned in the Persons with Disabilities Act of 1995, also known as the PWD Act of 1995, and the National Trust for Welfare of Persons with Autism, Cerebral Palsy, Mental Retardation and Multiple Disabilities Act of 1999, also known as the NT Act of 1999. Initially, the RTE Act of 2009 had incorporated the provisions mentioned in the PWD Act of 1995 and covered children who were blind, had low vision, were leprosy cured, had hearing impairment, locomotor disability, mental retardation, and mental illness. Due to the efforts of organizations advocating for children with special needs or persons with disabilities, the RTE Act was amended in 2012 and it incorporated provisions mentioned in both the PWD Act of 1995 and the NT Act of 1999. It added children with autism, cerebral palsy, mental retardation, or a combination of any two or more of such conditions. It also included children with severe multiple disability and called for ensuring home-based education for children with multiple disabilities or severe disabilities. Currently, with the replacement of the PWD Act of 1995 with the RPWD Act of 2016, the RTE Act incorporates the provisions given in Chapter 6 of RPWD Act for children with special needs and covers the 21 forms of disabilities specified in the schedule of the RPWD Act. We will try to cover these provisions in our presentation on RPWD Act. The RTE Act states that a child with disability shall have the right to pursue free and compulsory elementary education in a neighborhood school in accordance with the provisions of Chapter 5 of the Persons with Disabilities Act 1995. Chapter 5 of the PWD Act 1995 states that the appropriate governments and the local authorities shall ensure that every child with disability has access to free and compulsory elementary education in an appropriate environment till he or she attains the age of 18 years. Promote the integration of students with disabilities in normal schools. Please note, normal school is an old and misleading terminology. As special educators, we must use the new and appropriate terminology, that is, regular school. Promote setting up of special schools equipped with vocational training facilities so that children with disabilities living in any part of the country have access to such schools. It calls for conducting part-time classes for children with disabilities who could not continue their studies after class 5th on a regular basis. Conduct part-time classes for enhancing functional literacy of children in the age group of 16 and above. Provide every child with disability free of cost special books and equipments needed to pursue his or her education effectively. Provide suitable modification in the examination system to eliminate purely mathematical questions for the benefit of children with visual impairment. Restructure curriculum for the benefit of children with disabilities. All educational institutions shall provide amanuenses or a scribe to children with visual impairment. Initiate research for the purpose of designing and developing new assistive devices and teaching aids that are necessary to give a child with disability equal opportunities in education. Set up an adequate number of teachers training institutions and develop teachers training programs specializing in disabilities. Provide transport facilities to children with disabilities, or as an alternative, provide financial incentives to parents or guardians to enable their children with disabilities to attend schools. Remove architectural barriers from schools, colleges, or other institutions. Imparting vocational and professional training. Supply books and uniforms to children with disabilities attending school. Grant scholarships to students with disabilities. Set up appropriate forums for addressing grievances of parents regarding the placement of their children with disabilities. Now, let us have a quick look at how the Sarv Shiksha Abhiyan SSA, currently known as the Samagra Shiksha Program, is empowered by the RTE Act. SSA was started by a government in the year 2000 to fuel universalization of elementary education. Its zero rejection policy laid down the cornerstone for the inclusion of children with disabilities in regular schools at the elementary level. The SSA norms were further strengthened by the RTE Act. The following are a few provisions or concessions made for children belonging to disadvantaged groups or children with special needs, which are administered and funded through the Samagra Shiksha Program. Allocation for obtaining uniforms under the RTE Act. Allocation for obtaining textbooks under the RTE Act. Allocation for children with special needs, that is, an amount of Rs 3,500 per child per annum. A stipend of Rs 200 per month for girls with special needs studying in grades 1 to grade 12. We would like to conclude our presentation on the RTE Act with the RTE Anthem. The anthem was released by the Ministry of Human Resource and Development, MHRD, Government of India, in the year 2013 to promote the RTE Act.
Tang, tang, tang. Tang, tang, tang.
टन 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 सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे। पल 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 रोशनी जो मिली स्कूल की, जगमगाओगे तुम बन के तारे। कॉपी और किताबें सारी
स्कूल देगा, स्कूल देगा।
यूनिफॉर्म भी तुम्हारी
स्कूल देगा, स्कूल देगा।
स्कूल अब घर से दूर नहीं है,
कम हो गए फासले।
पहुंचोगे स्कूल के गेट पर तुम,
थोड़ा सा भी जो चले।
प्यार और नरमी से तुमको पढ़ाएंगे, टीचर है ऐसे भले।
सच 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 रीत अब है यही स्कूल की, कभी टीचर न बच्चों को मारे। टंग 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 सुनो घंटी बजी स्कूल की, चलो स्कूल तुमको
पढ़ना भी है और है खेलना भी है, दोनों बातें यहाँ।
ध्यान उनका भी पूरा रखा गया है, ये जान ले लड़कियां।
वो जो पढ़ेंगी, जो आगे बढ़ेंगी, तो बदलेगा हिंदुस्तान।
घर 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 शिक्षा जब पहुंचेगी, स्कूल की शक्ति पाएंगे निर्बल भी सारे।
टन 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 सुनो घंटी बजे, स्कूल की चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे।
चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे,
चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे, चलो स्कूल तुमको पुकारे।
शिक्षा मेरा अधिकार है।
We created this presentation in response to an assignment given to us by a principal during our training program. I would like to acknowledge and express my gratitude to Akanksha, Bhavya, Dipali and Naveen for their efforts, ideas, time and dedication. I am confident all of you will become excellent educators. I would also like to express my gratitude to our principal, Swati ma'am, for motivating us to work on the RTE Act as a team. Sudeep sir for his insights. Pubali ma'am for her mentorship and guidance. And Jha sir for his support. To view or access the resources we used for creating this presentation, please read the description given below this video. We hope our presentation will help you understand the Right to Education Act, spread awareness, advocate for and support parents of children with special needs in your journey as educators. Thank you.